Hey, this is Troy Taylor with the Championship Football Coaches Clinic podcast, sponsored by First Down Playbook, Rack Coach, Tip of the Spear, the Top Hopper, Sports Workbook. All right, this is a series we just started. It's called Hey Coach, where we answer specific questions. All right, so this question was almost too long to put it down in the bottom there. What's the easiest way to convey football knowledge? All right, if you know me, you know I didn't write that question because that's too big of words for me. So what's the easiest way to convey football knowledge? All right, so a guy in another state asked me this. He's not from Virginia. So I'm going to answer it like it's from a Virginia coach because I don't know all the rules and everything. All right, so here's how our football program is ran, and this is how we convey the easiest way to convey football knowledge. Pretty much after our last game, we take about 2 weeks off and we get back after it. You know, hopefully it's, after Christmas that we start working out. So we work out, we are with our players 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Off season in the afternoon, after school. If they are not playing another sport for LC Bird High School, they have to be in there with us. So if you're playing another sport, that's fine. We want you to play another sport. Run track, do wrestling, do basketball, play baseball, soccer, whatever it is. We want our guys playing other sports. There's all kinds of different reasons why we want that. But what's the easiest way to convey football knowledge? Well, first of all, you got to be around your players. And we are 3 days a week. The only times we're not working out is during dead periods or during exams. So they're with us 3 days a week. Now that period from January, February, probably until the spring dead period. So Virginia, the way it goes is like when baseball starts, when the spring sports start, there's a 2-week dead period. We cannot work out. That gives kids opportunities to play other sports. So pretty much we solely lift weights and we run during that January and February time period. But when we get back from the dead period, usually I always do this. After the Super Bowl, when Super Bowl Sunday, I've done this the last 2 years and I've done it other times too. After the Super Bowl, we always get the highlights, the 15-minute highlights of the Super Bowl, and we watch it with our team. So like maybe the backs will lift and then the line will watch the Super Bowl and we'll talk about it and we'll talk about what they're doing and we'll talk about what they're doing in our terminology. And, we'll point out good tackling, bad tackling, good blocking, bad blocking, good ball security, bad ball security. So what's the easiest way to convey football knowledge? First of all, right after that Super Bowl, everybody's excited. That Monday when kids come back, everybody's watched the Super Bowl, and then boom, we watch it. We watch it with our players. So, while the backs lift, the line will watch it. Then they'll switch, and then, I'll watch it with the backs. And we'll talk about what routes is that? What concepts is that? What formation is that? What shift is that? What coverage are they running? Are they in a 4 down? Are they in a 5 down? So that's kind of when we start. We start gearing up for the next season, really thinking about football. So 3 days a week, we lift weights, we run, and then in Virginia, we can practice football. We can't wear full pads. So from the Super Bowl until, this week, we gave them 2 weeks off because, we have a half day tomorrow. We have graduation this week. We have, Memorial Day on Monday. It's kind of a weird year. We have like a half day Friday. We have exams the next week. So they have 2 weeks off, and then we're going to start back in the summer. Well, coach, when we're going to lift 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Well, what time we're going to lift? We lift in the morning, 8:30 to 10:30. Why do we lift in the morning? It's cooler. And we practice in the morning before we go back to teacher work week. Once we go back to teacher work week, well, coach, when's teacher work week? Well, that's the week before school starts. We go to the afternoons. So what's the easiest way to convey football knowledge? we pretty much convey football knowledge 3 days a week. During that time period from the end of the Super Bowl until now, we're lifting, and we watched my friend Alex Maribal, the offensive line coach at Miami, became friends with him. We watched the Miami spring game, and we talked about it. What formation is that? What run is that? What protection is that? What routes is that? Okay, what are they doing on defense? They're a 4 down. Okay, all right, they're in a 3 down here. All right, they bring the boundary outside backer. Now they're in a 5 down. Everybody's covered up. They're in a bear front. All right, so we convey football knowledge about watching film, talking about football all the time, running our stuff, making sure that everybody uses the same language, the same wording. It's easy at a place like Bird where there's tradition, and they've been running the same offense and defense since 1983. At different places where you're changing stuff, or you're not the head coach, it's harder. One guy in particular I know, he doesn't really know what they're going to run. So, what's the easiest blocker rules? Block the guy in front of you. Center's got 0, guards got 1, tackles got 2, tight ends got 3. Well, how do you count that? Whoever the center calls 0 is who he blocks. And then the next guy, whoever the guard calls, is 1. And then whoever the tackle calls is 3. Oh, no, that's 2. So 0 center, 1 guard, 2 tackle, 3 tight end. Block the guy in front of you. All right. There's only 3 blocking schemes in football: man, gap, and zone. Man, you block your man. Gap, you're blocking down. Why? Because we're pulling people. There's people coming from the other side. So if you're on the right, you need to go left, because the guys on the left are coming right. Whether it's a power play and the backside guard's wrapping, or it's a counter play and the backside guard's trapping and the backside tackle's wrapping. Zone, go to the play. I've talked to a lot of coaches. Gap and zone is the same to me. Gap, you're gapping down. Zone, you're zoning too. So we zone, to the number, and we gap away from the number. We could talk about how do you make it easy. Teach everybody to snap. Teach everybody to play center. Because if you don't have a snap, you don't have a play. Teach as many guys as possible to take snaps. I had a coach once said, Troy, why do you use 5 different quarterbacks? Because you don't ever know what's going to happen in the course of a season. You may have to use 5 different quarterbacks. You better have 5 different guys taking snaps. I listened to the Las Vegas Raiders, Joey Farrell. Very good advice. People listen to Coach Taylor. He knows his football. Yeah, I don't know. I learned from your dad. He was a great one. When you're talking about, playing football, and you're talking about offensive football, you're talking about blocking people. Okay. And staying on your block. I was listening to the Las Vegas Raiders offensive line coach speak at the Cool Clinic. I was watching the Cool Clinic, and he said some things that were fascinating. First of all, he said, get a hat on a hat. There you go. If you have unblocked people at the point of attack, if your offensive line is turning around at the end of the play and looking in the backfield, you ain't have a good play. All right. When you block people, you need to stay on your block. Your hands need to be inside. All right. If you're the quarterback, your job is to hand the ball off and to bootleg, carry your fake out, whichever way it is. If you're a receiver, your job is to stalk, run off if it's man, or to crack, whatever we tell you to do. If it's a pass, you run your route. Quarterback needs to know their progression. Offensive line needs to know the pass protection. Is it full slide? Is it half slide? Is it fan? There's really only 3 protections in football. The way that I think: full slide, half slide, and then fan. 5 for 5. So that's offensive football. Defensive football, you better be able to stop the run. You better not give up the big play in the air. And you better run to the football. People always talk about tackling. Well, how do you teach tackling? Run to the football. That right there will solve a lot of your issues. All right. Watch film. Watch how most of the tackles are made. Most of the tackles are not made the way that people are practicing tackling. Watch a game. Watch how guys are brought down. That's how you need to be practicing it, whether it's with the dummy, whether it's with a circle, whether it's with whatever you want to use. You practice safety. Keep kids' heads out of the game by playing long. You never want a kid to lead with his head. You never want a kid to put his head down, because there you go. Easiest way to convey football knowledge, safety first. If there's a kid that's overheated, if there's a kid that's not feeling well, you get them the help they need. Jordan McNair's dad is a good friend of mine. He's came on here, and man, what a tragedy, for him to pass away at the University of Maryland. We talked to our players about this. The main thing, the most important thing is that we get you home safe. So football, we all love football, but our players come first, and the safety of our players come first. It's the easiest way: run to the ball, stop the run. Are you going to be a guy who takes people on with your defensive line, or are you going to be a guy that shoots gaps? Coverage, when the ball's in the air, somebody better make a play. You better go get that ball, and it ain't let him catch it and then tackle him, like my dad always said growing up. So what's the easiest way to convey football knowledge is pretty much what does Einstein say? I'm no Einstein. Pretty much the smartest people in the world, they make it easy. They don't make it hard. And the coach from the Raiders, another point I was thinking about was George DeLeon, who was the famous coach from Syracuse, offensive line coach, said, if you don't have your whole offense in by the spring, then someone else is out working you. So you better figure out what are we going to hang our hat on? As a coach, what are you going to hang your hat on? Are you going to be an I formation? You're going to be a spread. You're going to be a one back, two tights. You're going to be wing T. You're going to be option defense. You're going to be a 3 down. You're going to be a 3-3 stack. You're going to be a 3-4. You're going to be a 4-2, a 4-3. You're going to be a 50. What are you going to be? What are you going to hang your hat on? You can't do a million different things. So you better get good at something. You're going to be a man team. You're going to be a zone team. You're going to be a middle of the field closed. You're going to be a middle of the field open. So that was a long-winded answer, but that's for my good friend who want to know what's the easiest way to convey football knowledge is pretty much you ooze it. You live it. You teach it all the time. And that's by being around your players all the time. 3 days a week, we want them after school working out with us, learning the system, getting better. All right. So if you think this could help somebody, share it, like it, subscribe. Y'all are the best.